on the air.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here for this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Before we get started, as always, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. So everybody please rise for the pledge, and Councilman Lombardi, please lead us tonight.
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just ask that we remain standing for a moment of silence for the men and women in our armed services to provide us with the blanket of freedom that we live under each and every day and each and every night. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Okay, once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. Thank you all at home for watching tonight's meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Today's date is Wednesday, March 3rd, 2021. And at 6:30 p.m., the Town Board met in executive session with Councilman Borelli and Councilman Shannell to update the Town Board on the status of the Police Benevolent Association negotiation update. So we have three contracts that are up at the end of this year, one being the PBA contract. Second one is the IBT to Teamsters, the Highway Workers contract, and also CSEA contract expires at the end of this year as well. So negotiations are ongoing with the three bargaining units, with the Town Board liaisons to those bargaining units are underway with negotiations, and we're hopeful that we'll have contracts in place way before the end of this year. I'm hoping August, September timeframe would be nice, so we could factor any additional cost into the 2022 budget that we'll be working on come September. So they're ongoing, and the Town Board, the liaisons will be meeting with the Town Board periodically to update the other members of the boards on the status of those negotiations. So for the record, all Town Board members are present with us this evening, as is our Town Clerk, Ann Spofford. Ann, thanks for being here. And Greg Fulchetti, our Town Council, is here with us as well. So again, it's a Town Board voting meeting. So the first resolution on for tonight is a resolution authorizing advertising for bids for purchase and supply of chemicals for wastewater treatment plants, Carmel Sewer Districts 2, 4, 5, and 6, and 7, and Carmel Water Districts 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 12. Councilman Shannell, would you read Resolution 1?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as commissioners of the various water and sewer districts within the Town of Carmel, pursuant to the request of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., hereby authorizes Town Clerk Ann Spofford to advertise for bids for the purchase and supplies of chemicals for the wastewater treatment plants servicing Carmel Sewer District Number 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 12, and the water treatment facility serving Carmel Water Districts 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 12. And be it further resolved that the town engineer is to furnish detailed specifications for the above to the town clerk to be used in conjunction with the town's general bid conditions and specifications. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannell?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli? Yes. Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, resolution number 2 is a resolution authorizing advertising for bids for sludge hauling for the Town of Carmel various sewer and wastewater treatment plants. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 2, please?
Sure. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, pursuant to the request of the Town of Carmel Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as commissioners of the various sewer districts within the Town of Carmel, hereby authorizes Town Clerk Ann Spofford to advertise for bids for sludge hauling services for the various sewage, wastewater treatment plants within the Town of Carmel. And be it further resolved that the town engineer is to furnish detailed specifications for the above to the Town Clerk Ann Spofford to be used in conjunction with the town's general bid conditions and specifications. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannell?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 3, is also a resolution to authorize for advertising for bids for the Town of Carmel townwide collection of refuse, garbage, and recyclable materials and bulk collection. Councilman Borelli, would you read 3, please?
Resolved that, pursuant to the request of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E.,
The Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes Ann Spofford, excuse me, Town Clerk, to advertise for bids in connection with the town-wide collection of refuse, garbage, recyclable materials, and bulk collection. Be it further resolved that the town engineers to furnish detailed specifications for the above to the town clerk to be used in conjunction with the town's general bid conditions and specifications. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lombardi and Councilman Shannell. Roll call vote?
Councilman Shannell.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Okay,
May I
next
just ask,
resolution?
If I may,
Yeah.
before, to Rich and to Ann, before this RFP goes out, I had mentioned last week to Rich that, we had received a lot of complaints, and I know that I had received several on Facebook and social media, and I responded to, and I know that the engineering department has been keeping a list of those complaints, and they've categorized them. So before the RFP goes out, I'd like an opportunity to go through that list, and I spoke to Councilman Shannell, who's going to go through it with me as well. We'll go through it, and just to see if there's any additions that need to be made to the RFP based on the complaints that we've received from residents, and if those issues can be addressed in the next proposal that goes out. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah,
I
Frank,
agree with Councilman Lombardi.
we can all look at it.
That's fine.
You know, that's
Like I
what
said,
we
I
did,
know
that's what
that,
we did the last time.
I
And
know that
everybody
Rich,
put in their
engineering department is maintaining a list of those, and we should
Yeah,
consult that list and consider any additions to the RFP that need to be made.
so just ask Rich, once he puts it together, to give it to the town board to
Give it to the
review
board to review?
for
Okay.
any additional comments.
Sure, yep, absolutely. All right, good idea. Okay, next resolution, number 5, is a resolution.
Four.
I'm sorry,
Four.
4. Resolution 4 is a resolution authorizing budget modifications 2020/05 and 2020/05A. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 4, please?
Resolved that Town Controller Marianne Maxwell has reviewed the proposed final budget modifications for the period ending December 31, 2020, with the Town Board, which are detailed and explained on the attached budget revision scheduled number 2020-05 and 2020-05A. And now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby authorizes and ratifies the final budget modifications revisions for the period ending December 31, 2020, as shown itemized on Schedule 2020-05 and 2020-05A, which is attached hereto, incorporated herein, and made reference hereof. I offer this as a resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough and Councilman Shannell. Roll call vote?
Councilman Shannell.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes,
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 5, is a resolution authorizing encumbrances of 2020 funds for expenditures in 2021. Councilman Shannell, would you read 5, please?
Whereas it is recommended by the Town Controller's Office that the 2020 government budget funds be encumbered or reserved for the 2021 budget appropriations based on recent approved town board resolutions and/or specific projects in progress for various purposes. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel authorizes the Town Controller's Office to encumber or reserve unexpended 2020 government fund monies for expenditures in fiscal year 2021 as follows. The total amount of the expenditures will be $825,197. I would like to offer this resolution as filed with the town clerk.
Second.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough and Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote?
Councilman Shannell.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
yes,
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 6, is a resolution authorizing release of performance bonds for Aquava Water Technologies LLC, contract 0143. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 6, please?
sure. Whereas application has been made by Evaqua Water Technologies LLC, a successor in interest to Siemens Water Technologies Corporation, Siemens Corporation, and U.S. Filter Wastewater Group, Inc., for the total release of performance bond posted in connection with a certain contract known as Contract Number 0143 and entitled Contract Number 0143 for providing membrane filtration equipment for the regulatory upgrade of Carmel Sewer Districts Numbers 2 and 4 wastewater treatment plants, dated June 20th, 2002. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, as Commissioners of Carmel Sewer Districts Number 2 and 4, hereby authorizes the full release of the performance bond in the amount of $1,912,000 for the contract referenced herein as issued under bond number 28-59.39 by National Union Fire Insurance Company of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And be further resolved that Evoqua Water Technologies LLC has acknowledged surrender and/or forfeiture to Carmel Sewer Districts Number 2 and 4 for all contract retainage being held with respect to the reference contract, which is in excess of $32,000, upon proper and complete application release of said retainage by Evoqua Water Technologies LLC. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lombardi. As you can see, these performance bonds are 19 years old, so they've been around for a long time. And the equipment associated with these, the membrane filtration equipment, was part of the regulatory upgrade. So that equipment's been in place for 19 years as well. So it's time that these bonds, we think that it's time for these bonds to be returned and released for 19 years.
One question. Councilman McDonough had mentioned it was $1,912,000. I have
Yeah,
$1,900,000.
Greg redid it. I have
Okay.
the new one here, which I'm going to
Yeah,
give
I-
to the
I
town
apologize.
clerk.
Okay.
I had located, the vendors council had actually located the bond itself. It's so old that we were having trouble locating it here just because it's from 2001 or 2002. But the bond number and the exact amount were put in there, and I just gave that to Councilman McDonough before we read, so I apologize.
Thank you for clarifying.
No need to apologize. You're allowed to make a mistake.
Not a mistake. Clarification.
Clarification.
And I make fun, don't worry.
All right, next resolution. Do we vote on that? Ann?
Wait.
Oh, roll call vote. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shano.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 7, is a resolution authorizing entry into a contract, Carmel Volunteer Ambulance Corps. Councilman Borelli, would you read 7?
Whereas appropriations have been made in the 2021 town budget for entry into various contracts with the provision of various services to the town of Carmel. And whereas said contracts are on file in the office of the town supervisor for the inspection and review of all town board members. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel hereby authorizes the town supervisor to enter into and execute on behalf of the town contracts with the Carmel Volunteer Ambulance Corps for ambulance services in Carmel Ambulance District Number 1 for 2021 in the amount not to exceed $200,000. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Okay, offered by Councilman Borelli, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shano.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Okay, the 8th and final resolution is a resolution accepting a proposal for cyclical reevaluation services. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 8, please?
Resolved, the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby accepts the proposal of GAR Associates LLC, Amherst, New York, for assessment and appraisal services to be provided in conjunction with the 2021, 2022, and 2023 Town of Carmel assessment rolls at an annual cost not to exceed $22,500 for year 2021, and at an annual cost not to exceed $25,000 for years 2022 and 2023, and in accordance with the proposal attached hereto and made part hereof. And be it further resolved, the Town Controller, Mary Ann Maxwell, is hereby authorized to make any and all necessary budget transfers or modifications required to fund the cost of this authorization. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough and Councilman Borelli. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shano.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you.
And Kenny, just on this particular resolution, there had been some discussion, remember at our last meeting about that? with the not-to-exceed cost for the years 2022 and 2023. So based upon the recommendations that the town board made to Glenn, and in Glenn's discussions with GAR, the not-to-exceed cost was reduced down from the original amount down to the 25,
Okay.
right?
Yes, yes.
It was
thank
a
you. Yeah,
substantial
that was
amount.
good that you had that discussion.
Yes.
Yeah. So before we move on to the resident comments, I just want to state, or want to let you guys know and the public know, it's more for the public, the benefit of the public. I received a call today from a woman that was extremely upset, crying over the phone. 2 weeks ago, she lost her husband. Her husband passed away at home, and the ambulance was called to her house, and the medic was called to her house. They wound up, providing medical assistance to her husband, but his condition was such that they weren't able to save him. So what the upsetting part was, losing her husband was extremely upsetting, but she received a bill today for $500 in the mail for ambulance services. And she lives in the Lake Cassie section of town, and that would be Mahopac Ambulance. And Mahopac Ambulance does not bill for ambulance services, for EMS calls. They don't. They're a volunteer fire department. It's part of their contract their annual contract that we have with them for fire and EMS. Turns out it was M-Star, the medic that showed up on the
That
scene.
right there.
And M-Star they're paramedics, and they're a privately owned company, and they do bill for services when they come to your home. If you should have an ambulance come to your home and M-Star is there with the ambulance, you will probably receive a bill for their services, but send that invoice immediately to your insurance company.
Why would, if we have an ambulance on site, why would a backup come?
They do.
They do.
This has been
because-
going on for years.
Because there's two types of calls, ALS, which is Advanced Ambulance Service, or Advanced Medic Service, and there's BLS, Basic Life Support. So there's Advanced Life Support and Basic Life Support. The paramedic is automatically dispatched on an Advanced Life Support call. They go, they're automatically dispatched with the ambulance. So if they show up at your home, that means that the type of call that they were dispatched to warranted an advanced medical.
The question is, who called the second ambulance?
The Mahopac ambulance was dispatched as part of the red normal dispatch.
Right?
Mike,
The
they have,
911 center,
Yeah.
the 911 center dispatched the advanced life support based on the type of call. So they.
Well, it just seems like the old phrase of ambulance chasing. If we have an ambulance, if we go out first and we're there, unless they request a backup or the police request a backup, there's no reason why a second ambulance should be there.
Yeah, I think in this particular call, I agree with you with that, Mike, but in this particular call, the caller indicated that the male was suffering a possible heart attack.
So
and
it's
he
the
was
911's
unresponsive.
discretion to do it.
It's their discretion.
Okay, I want to make sure that
Yeah.
this ambulance is not just floating on their own.
Yeah, they actually, the ALS, the M-Star ALS paramedics have a higher level of advanced
Yeah, I
first aid.
understand.
So they can actually intubate, I think they can intubate, is that correct?
They can intubate,
Is-
they can offer IVs, and depending on the severity of the call, I have my son who was transported last week. The paramedic will jump in because they don't transport. MSR does not transport.
Right.
So if it's trauma or if it's life-threatening, they do have the advanced support to jump in and get in. But they do also ask you for your information, your insurance information while riding.
As long as the decision is not
Thank
made
you.
by the ambulance driver of that second
Yeah,
ambulance.
no, it's made by the Bureau of Emergency
the
Services.
911.
The 911 center.
Yeah.
Dependent on the call, I found that out. And STAR does not transport, so
Yeah,
that's how
but-
that works. But she just needs to submit.
She's got it,
the
yeah.
EOP and go from there. I know it's the last thing I wanted to do, but I found that out in the hard way last week.
Yeah, thank you for that. She actually put a call out to the chief of the Mahopac Fire Department, but it's not the Mahopac Fire Department
No.
that bills, it's M-Star for the medic services.
But-
So she called me back a couple of hours later and said, thank you very much. I spoke to my insurance company, and they're covering the cost of it.
Yeah.
So My point is, if M-Star comes to your home based on the type of call that the ambulance was dispatched to, and that the medic was there, if you get a bill for services, immediately notify your insurance company. They will cover the cost of that. In most cases, they will. They should. All right, so.
And regardless of the bill, if you experience a medical emergency, please call 911 and,
Right.
you know, call an
Yep.
ambulance.
Now, Carmel
Worry about
Ambulance
that
is
later.
different. Carmel Ambulance does bill for services.
Right.
They just have a different arrangement,
Right,
you know,
correct.
for that. But they do bill for services, and most of them are covered by insurance. So, all right, just wanted to let the public know that, that was the issue, and that's how you handle it in the future. Hopefully, you won't need an ambulance coming to your house in the future, or a medic. All right, so I actually jumped ahead of public comment. Does anybody like to comment on the agenda items that we covered this evening? Does anyone here come on up at this time? Okay, there being none, I'm going to open up the floor to general public comment. This is the open forum portion of the meeting where you could come up and address the town board on any town-related matters. Must be a resident, business owner, or property owner to address the board at this time. Okay, all right, there being none, thank you. I made my one announcement. Does the board have any other announcements?
I have an announcement.
Yeah, I have one question, too. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. March 20th is a Saturday morning from 10 to 1. I have sponsored a food drive-through food drive to benefit the St. John's Food Pantry. The St. John's Food Pantry services not just the town of Carmel, but also Putnam County totality. And sad to say that there are still people who require the services, so therefore we put together with St. John's a food drive-through. It's going to be different than it was last year. Last year, you remember, we had it at the roller rink. There was a whole procedure that we had there, but we don't have to follow that procedure this year. It's going to be in the rear of the church. You're going to drive through. The volunteers are going to take the materials into the church, and thereafter it'll be sanitized pursuant to the health department rules by the volunteers and the church personnel. So what is needed is lots of non-perishable items, you know, the pasta, vegetables, cookies, cereal, all that kind of thing. So we'll make this announcement again, but people have been asking when we were going to do another one, and it was difficult to contemplate doing it when we had all that snow, so I figured wait till, and this is the week before Palm Sunday, so there's not an issue with church services going on anywhere in town. So 10 to 1, March 20th.
At St. John's?
Out St. John's, drive-through in the back,
Okay.
drop off, and come out, just
All right.
like you would normal church services.
Okay. All right, great. Thanks, Frank. Mike, did you have something?
Yeah, I have a question. I understand, I found out today, actually, that there was an ongoing, about a year-long theft of services in the Carmel Water District Number 2, and I just wanted to make sure, we're not looking at Cousins O'Connor for any kind of investigation, are we? Or we handle it internally?
We are not looking at Cousins O'Connor's for that one. Greg, are you familiar with the one Mike is referring to?
In Sewer 2, I found out about one last week. I'm unaware if anybody's been engaged to do any investigation on it.
Okay.
But it would be, that would be something that would probably start in the local enforcement here in the court.
That's where it should be. That's where it should start. I
Right.
agree.
Thank you.
No, we're not. Okay,
It would at least start there.
right. Bob, did you have anything?
Just that if you're looking for a good Lenten meal, the Knights of Columbus will be continuing their fish fry this Friday. Online orders are encouraged and suggested, and make a great meal. A lot of things to choose from, and help support a local charity. And have a good meal. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Susie, you have anything?
Nothing.
Nothing at all? Okay.
No, thank you.
All right.
You have executive session.
We do, yes, we do. Okay, so we do have executive session tonight with our town council, Greg Fulchetti, with Glenn Drosy, our town assessor, and this is certiorari litigation update on certiorari matters. So we're going to be closing the town board meeting from executive session. We're not going to be coming back out here to do it. So I do need a motion to go into executive session for those litigation matters. So moved by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilman Borelli. All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, Mike is seconding it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, good night, everyone. Be
night,
well.
everyone.
We'll see you next week on the 10th, March 10th, for a town board work session. Good night, everybody.